My name is David Cohen. I'm 76 years old, and tomorrow I'm running the Ultravasan 90. I feel pretty good about it. Seems doable, but I've never gone this far. So there are probably some good questions that I should be asking or should have asked a long time ago, but here we are. I think we're going to finish. I'm going to finish. My running buddy's going to finish right next to me, and it's going to feel great. I understand the only way to relieve the pain of an ultramarathon is to finish the race, and then it's over. The first part of the race is uphill, and I plan to just start out easily, walk and run, jog, or as I feel, get comfortable, and get up to 6 or 9K into the race, and around 9 or 10K, somewhere in there, start a 6-minute run, 3-minute walk interval, and keep that going as long as possible.
It's 4:31 a.m. and we are headed to the Vasaloppet. How you doing, David?
I'm feeling pretty good this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah, slept some. Feeling all right.
Yeah?
It's kind of dark.
You got any plans for today?
I think I'm going to spend the day on a trail.
Cool. How many miles are you going to run today?
There's 56.
56 miles.
Yeah, 56. 90K.
So what did you just put in your mouth?
I put some goo in my mouth. A Cliff Shot espresso.
Yeah.
Double espresso, actually.
All right. So now you're full of drugs.
Full of drugs, my hands are sticky.
Full of drugs at 4:30 a.m. in a car with a suspect driver. Very suspicious behavior for a retired professor. All right.
And I should say, I don't feel 76 at all. I feel like one of these younger guys. Well, on the slow side, but younger.
Yeah.
Going okay. It looks like it's on time. We're on time. Feeling pretty comfortable. Nice and cool. Nice to run without the heat. Hope it doesn't rain too much.
We're at 20K. David, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's been a hard stuff through this gnarly, swampy stuff. But it's got to be over sometime. How do we get through this swamp?
Little did we know at the time that difficult terrain would continue for another 15 kilometers.
Thirty kilometers. David, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. given what we've been through. It can't all be this hard all the way. But I feel it. 30K, big number. 2 more 30Ks to go. We're on track, marginally close to pace required.
There are 6 cutoff stations throughout the race. If you do not reach each cutoff station by a designated time of day, you'll be promptly ejected from the race as a DNF, did not finish. Reaching each cutoff station in time was extremely challenging. After 3 hours and 50 minutes of running, we arrived at the first cutoff station at Mångsbodarne with only 5 minutes and 50 seconds to spare. The second cutoff station at Risberg we had to reach by 10:40 a.m. We arrived just 3 minutes and 53 seconds before that time. We were gradually, yet inevitably, losing our grip on the minimum pace, and the threat of becoming disqualified began to wear on our psyche the further we ran.
40 kilometers.
Yeah,
How does 40 kilometers feel today?
well, it feels a little better than 30.
Really?
We're making it. Yeah,
What happened at 30?
it was rough terrain. Don't remember. But I think we're on a decent pace now. Comfortable anyway for a while. Feel pretty good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Opa, you did it. You did a marathon. Beyond marathon. How you feeling?
Okay.
What are you eating?
Got an energy bar.
All right. Look at this.
3 kilometers after we passed the marathon mark, David's legs begin to feel heavy, and he takes a nasty fall on a gravel path, gashing his elbow and leg, blood everywhere. Although we reached the next cutoff point at Evertsberg with 6 minutes to spare, David needs medical attention there, which takes well over 10 minutes. 10 minutes, which we will have to make up somehow before the next cutoff at Augsburg. After sitting down for so long at the doctor's office, it took an additional 5 minutes to get running again due to cramps. Everything was working against us at this point, and the only choice we had was to run faster with little or no breaks if we were going to make the next cutoff time at Augsburg.
What, 50K? David, that was a pretty...
we had to stop at a medical tent. A little trip and fall. And patched up and good to go.
How you feeling at this point?
Legs are a little heavy. You have 1 marathon distance to go. And that should be easy. We know what that is. We've done that a lot. Right?
That's right, buddy.
A little bit of downhill. Here.
Mental and physical fatigue continue, and David takes another bad fall on a rocky path at 55 kilometers.
It's 60 kilometers.
Yeah, the second fall at 55.
Yeah, it's getting slower, but I think we'll make the cutoff.
At Augsburg.
Yeah.
We eventually make it to the Augsburg cutoff at 62 kilometers with 4 minutes to spare after virtually no walking breaks. As extreme exhaustion sets in, our pace slows down dramatically. We struggle to maintain a 10-minute per kilometer pace on the way to Hökberg at 71 kilometers. We have been seemingly running non-stop until this video clip where we can briefly walk and relax, knowing that we have a whole 12 minutes to go the 1 kilometer to the next cutoff station at Hökberg, which we eventually reached with 39 seconds to spare.
70-kilometer video. How you doing, Opa?
Well,
Walking up a hill?
yeah, I'm here. It's a good day. Only 21 to go.
You look a little bloodied up.
Half marathon. Yeah, a little bloody. Can be cleaned up.
Clean it up afterwards.
On the way to the last cutoff station at Eldris at 81 kilometers, race organizers inform us that we will need to run the whole time in order to make it to Eldris in time.
I can run a little faster than I can walk, but not much anymore.
We're at 80K.
Wow. Fantastic.
What's the hardest part?
What?
What's the hardest part?
I'm meeting the cutoff time.
Yeah,
Got another one close.
we're gonna make it.
It's been an adventure.
We eventually make it to Eldris, the sixth and final cutoff station, with 1 minute and 37 seconds to spare. The most challenging obstacles have now been overcome. All we had to do at this point was make it to the finish line, which was 8.9 kilometers away. There was no cutoff at the finish line, so the time pressure was no longer there for this final stretch. Although we were exhausted after 15 hours of running, we were delighted to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to finally be free of the time pressure which hung over us like a dark cloud the entire race.
Opa! Still standing, beaten up, bruised, bloodied, but still alive and still healthy.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done. I know it's not like going to war or giving birth to a child or dealing with a horrible family tragedy or something like that. But physically, this was the hardest thing I ever did.
It was a super tough course. We've been running for 15 hours. We're exhausted.
15 hours and 27 minutes.
Ready to finish this thing.
I was an academic for 43 years, and there were a lot of tough things that came along, problems that needed be resolved, work that needed to be finished. Some really tough things, questions to answer. But you were often given, a couple years to get those things done. And this was a different story. This was all the tough stuff of this was compacted into a 15-and-a-half-hour day for us.
Thank you. 90K, David. Thank you.
One of the things that I like about a race like this, it's like a small detail, but here and the Jungfrau Marathon is like, they don't give you the shirt at the expo or at the place where they give out the bib numbers and all the goodies in your goodie bag. They don't give you the shirt until you finish the race. So, I like the idea of, you have won this shirt. So, they produce a really nice shirt, and this is going to go at the top of my pile because this is my coolest accomplishment in years. This race is really an amazing race, and it's a beautiful, beautiful terrain. You can't go 5 minutes without being in awe of the environment. It's a beautifully organized race. You could ask for an easier race, but you couldn't ask for a more beautiful race than this one.
Awesome, David. You look awesome. The oldest finisher of Ultravasan 90, by the way. No one's even close to David in age. 76 years old. Hey,
with a mark of just 122.5 meters to the finish line.
woo!
They're coming closer.
Awesome, David. There's the finish at the end. We're so close, we can taste it.
The other incredible thing that I experienced in this, maybe other people don't experience unless they win the race, is the extraordinary fanfare that surrounded my efforts to complete this race. The last 25 kilometers, the last couple of checkpoints, people knew we were coming and came out and said, "Opa, keep on going, you're making it, you can do this." And David, come on, David, come on, David. And they were saying it in English, saying stuff in Swedish, and they had gotten the word from somewhere passed up the line that we were just barely making the cutoffs, and we were among the last or the very last people finishing this race. And I guess part of it is that I'm 76 years old, and they knew I was 76, and there was, I think the next youngest runner in the race was 13 years younger than I was. So it's too bad we don't have more older people running the race, but for one day anyway, I was sort of a celebrity athlete at the tail end of a very long race day. I've got quite a good team in Ann Arbor and elsewhere. Let me start with my son, Ben. We talk together and run together. He lives in Cleveland, I live in Ann Arbor. Ben and I keep each other going, and we usually do 1 or 2 races together a year. I have another running buddy who lives next door to me in Ann Arbor, Greta, who actually traces her roots to Sweden and is Swedish in all things. Except she can't deliver the meatballs she's promised. Greta is a great runner and is very inspiring because she goes out every day and does it, and very successfully. A dog, Pia, a beautiful, sweet dog who gets me out. She likes to move and gets me out moving about 3 miles a day, different times of the day for walks or maybe a little trotting, moving. Sometimes I get pulled along faster than I'd like to go, and she's a treasure, and I guess she helps me keep fit. My running buddy, Luke O'Connor, my wife's son, lives in Denmark, and around December 29th, we followed through on something we were talking about last summer after the Ultravasan 45. We finished it. We really enjoyed it, and we said we have to do this next year, the 90. We signed up, I bought an airplane ticket, and we reserved a hotel and committed ourselves to it. My wife, Gretchen, is another buddy who makes this possible by letting me do crazy things like running. My wife, Gretchen, is an avid swimmer who gets to the gym maybe 5 to 6 days a week. So it's easy for me to get 2.5 hours of gym time just accompanying her to the gym. I do maybe 15 races a year, and I get a lot of support from it from home. And then I have a professional team of my coach, Ron Warhurst, who's the legendary University of Michigan coach, my trainer, David William who works for HPC, Human Performance Collective. He's really good, and in the last year I've been seeing a chiropractor regularly, and his name is Zach Simpkins, and he's really good, and he and David William, the massage therapist, coordinate things through me. About 6 or 8 weeks ago, I got in touch with someone I know in Ann Arbor, Jeff Burns, who is himself an elite ultramarathoner who's doing a PhD at the University of Michigan, and asked him if he would coach me through the last 6 or 8 weeks of the Ultravasan training, and right up to the day I left the country. And he agreed, and he's been a great boost. He did this race a few years ago, did it while injured, and performed pretty well. And so that's my team.